Hey everybody, welcome to Goots' Wrestling Pod. I'm your host, Ray Goots. Andrew Lee has taken the next few weeks off. So we're gonna have a rotating thing of guest hosts. Your first guest host during this period is Kyle Lewis. He was all over Disney podcast and he already guest co-host before with Great American Bash 88. And he loved NWA so much, he's a huge Tyrus fan, that he couldn't wait to come back on and talk Halloween Havoc 89. How you doing, buddy?
I'm great. I'm just thinking about my man Tyrus. What's going on, everybody?
You were like, listen, I want to honor Tyrus's legacy. Can I talk about the first Halloween Havoc? I was like, all right.
Exactly. I know a young Tyrus at 30 something years old was watching Halloween Havoc
More
and decided to become a wrestler, and we're all much happier for it.
listen. I know without Tyrus, I don't know what I would be doing. Eventually, because I'm going to cover every pay per view. It's going to get kind of wacky as we get to the AEW era because every company now has pay per views. We're
So
going to be
many.
covering the NWA pay. I don't know when, but we're going to cover that pay per view where he won the belt. So.
Oh, well, where do you have to buy it? Is there like a place to buy NWA pay-per-views now?
Yeah,
Or are they
you can.
all on
Yeah,
YouTube?
yeah, but I think eventually they become free. I mean, but at that point they'll probably be on the dollar bin at Walmart.
I didn't knew they made DVDs. Good for them.
I mean, they're gonna have to at the rate that this is going. So, I mean,
Physical
that'll be a
media.
long way away. I mean, I've been doing this podcast now for 6 months. We're only in 1989, so, and then we're
Got
not
some
even in the
time.
monthly pay-per-view era. So,
Oh yeah, they're gonna do a lot of in your houses.
a lot of in your houses. But before we talk about Halloween Havoc 89, and I have a lot to say, and I'm sure you do as well about this monument, the first Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
Um, let's talk about AEW Collision. The ratings were very, very high. First of all, before we get into the ratings and why CM Punk is so much better than Kenny Omega, what did you think of the show overall? Did you watch it?
I did. I had to watch it the next day. I had my birthday was Monday, so I had people hanging out Saturday. Got the bar to put it on, but you're in a bar, you can't hear it. It just kind of
Yeah,
just see CM Punk for a
that's
second.
the best thing about CM Punk is him talking, not him actually wrestling.
Yeah, and then Wardlow losing the title and things like that. Like it's just while you're conversing, you're like, oh, okay, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no sports, so they'll put it on.
Yeah.
Like right now, if it was like Game 7, they'd be like, shut the fuck up.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it was cool. It just was like a show, It was CM Punk came out, said his piece, and then they just kind of went on with the wrestling for the rest of the show. And I didn't think the wrestling was bad. I think it was kind of easy to watch. Maybe easier to watch than Dynamite. I don't know if it's because I watched it later,
I
but
felt it had a more serious tone. My problem with AEW Dynamite is always kind of felt like it hasn't been that much different from the WWE format.
mhm.
And in the ways it is different, it's very silly. And this felt more like a Roy's War from 97, 98, but with good wrestling.
Yeah,
Because the matches in 98 aren't very good. But
no. When you go back, you realize how bad
mm-hmm.
the attitude there really was sometimes.
Mm-hmm. But what I felt like this had a more serious tone, less of a jokey, like we love pro wrestling. It was more like the business at hand. I don't know. I don't know if you got that vibe when you watched it on
I
Sunday.
mean, I think the commentary team was a big help with that. Kevin Kelly is not really known for his jokes. The same with Nigel McGuinness. So they do a lot of New Japan. At least Kevin Kelly does.
Mm-hmm.
So they just kind of play it straightforward. Jim Ross, unfortunately, had his accident and wasn't great that night. Which I'm not holding. I know everyone wants to hold his feet to the fire all the time, but I'm not holding that against him.
I mean, I don't hold his feet. I hold all his enablers' feet.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, I listen to his. I'm a year behind because I subscribe to Conrad Thompson's ad-free shows, but I'm a year
Mm-hmm.
behind because I listen to everything. And he basically is like, "No, Jim, if you want to work, you should always work. You're the best of all time." And he sounds like half the time Jim Ross sounds tired, and half the time like he'll just lose. If there's a guest co-host, it's like, "Hey, so, what do you think?" They're talking about like Backlash 2002. Did you hear the rumor that they were gonna have Hogan and Triple H like tag team? There was a rumor about that. Did you? How the fuck would I remember that? That was 20 years ago. How would I
Yeah.
remember that? Why even asking me that? And it's like, bro, because this is a podcast about nostalgia. You fucking like, why are you like? He just gets randomly mad, and I'm just like, yo, this guy. Someone needs to protect this guy from himself because he shouldn't be
Yeah.
work all. He shouldn't be traveling around the country every single day. Like he shouldn't.
I think he's just. I mean, I think this is just me projecting. I think he's just still hurt. He's
He
hurt. He's
is,
low.
but
He's lonely. Lost his wife in
mhm.
a terrible way.
He is, but
I don't
like
think he's ever recovered from that.
no, he's not recovering, and I think but he's also getting older. He's mentally deteriorating. But it's just like sometimes
Yeah,
protect people from themselves,
yeah.
you know. And I don't think anyone protects him from himself. And I
No, they
think they've
won't.
done it in a cowardly way, like by cutting down his screen time. But I think flying this guy all the way to like fucking LA so he can do Rampage and only me and you watch that show. I think that's actually doing more harm to the guy than just not having him there because you're making him travel, but then he has to like he can't be on the live show, so it's hurting him mentally because he's like, but I want to be on the live show. Why is Tony on the live show and not me? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Tony Schiavone, I mean.
yeah. I mean, Tony Khan does his announcements too, so
Yeah,
people seem to love.
I don't know, but
Yeah, we'll
yeah,
see. Maybe this is the end of the road for JR. I mean, I just hope he heals, physically and mentally. But I think he knows he'll have to wind down. In terms of the podcast, it's a nostalgia podcast, so I don't know why
he
he
gets
get upset about that. I didn't even know that was a rumor. I didn't know that
what
the tag team of Hogan and Triple H.
I didn't know that rumor either. But like
Yeah,
what they do on these podcasts is they read the dirt sheets and they're like, "Did you hear this? Did you hear that?"
yeah, I've heard them before. I don't listen often. What I've been doing now, and it's really YouTube. YouTube shows me the clips of stuff,
Mhm.
and then the algorithm keeps showing me clips. So I'll see like clips of a shoot interview. Like been watching a lot of this, not the full one, but like the Stevie Richards shoot interview where he talks about right to censor or just being in the No Mercy video game as like a top boss, just random ass shit. And I enjoy those because it's like 3, 4 minutes. Same thing with Rene Dupree. He has a podcast. I can't imagine listening to it for an hour, but not because of him. I just don't have that time. But the clip will be like Rene Dupree on why Rob Van Dam hates such and such. So okay.
Well, every time I see a clip from the Dupree podcast, it's someone who was in WWF for like 2 minutes in
It's
2005,
it's the 2005 crew for sure.
basically just demolishing the narrative we have. Like Ricky Steamboat was a dick, Arn Anderson was a dick. I didn't have a good time there. Fuck them. And like,
It's
and
him and
like,
Paul London.
yeah, well, like there was a whole Kid Cash. There was a whole clip where he just calls out Arn and Ricky for being assholes, and it got no
Wow.
traction because I feel like that just completely destroys whatever stories they like us to believe. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't think anybody believes that Ricky Steamboat is an asshole. He could be the biggest asshole, but he
Yeah.
just has so much like equity that no one's gonna believe that about Ricky the Dragon Steamboat ever.
Yeah, and also I feel like a lot of these guys, their stories are colored by the fact that it didn't work out for them. So
Yeah, there's a lot of bitterness in there,
yeah,
probably.
if Kid
Uh
Cash was still on Raw with Judgment Day, I'm sure he'd be like, Ricky Steamboat's great, Triple H is great, I love this company. You know what I mean?
Throw him right into the Judgment Day. Why not?
Oh my god, Luther Reigns. Hey, that's a good one. Then the
Another
other thing I
guy,
want to
yeah.
talk about Collision is the ratings. It got like 880 something thousand. I think that's really good for a Saturday. You know,
Mm.
I think that they approved Collision because TNT was just showing Man of Steel every Saturday. You can look it up. And I think 5 people are watching it. So I think in TNT's mind is like, listen, if we get like the Rampage numbers, like and the Rampage numbers like 300,000, 400,000,
Yeah.
that's still a lot more than what we have. So I think 800,000 on a Saturday is a major home run. I think 800,000 on a Saturday is like 2 million on a Friday SmackDown. That's my opinion.
No, I think that is a major home run. Like I don't, Saturdays we're out doing comedy or out in general. You're not usually home. Uh, and most people, at least around our age, aren't usually home either.
Mm.
But so like to get that kind of number and have that kind of traction, that's really good. And will it stay at 800,000? Probably not. But I still think, like you said, it'll be better than Man of Steel.
Yeah.
TNT, it was either TNT or TBS. I think it was TNT. They gave me the best, worst Juneteenth marathon I've ever seen. It was just any black movie that they had the rights to, and they just
Mm.
lumped them all together in a marathon. So it's like Black Panther, not even the first one. Sometimes Black Panther, Ride Along 2. It's like what? Like it's just like no, there's no theme here. The theme is
Oh,
black, and we got nothing,
there,
and it just made me laugh.
Dude, the team every time I put on TNT, it's either like a DC extended universe movie, a Star Wars movie, or an MCU movie, but they'll show them out of order. It'll be like Avengers Age of Ultron, and then like Civil War, and then like Thor 2, and then like Wonder Woman 84. It's like really,
It makes no sense.
yeah, it goes all over the place. And but I don't think anyone's watching those movies. So I
No.
think this is the thing I don't think a lot of fans realize. I think TNT is going to be happy with a very low number. And when
Hmm.
they hit that number, wrestling fans are gonna think it's a disaster. I think TNT is gonna be happy if it gets 100,000 people.
Yeah, it probably does, but I mean, I'm sure you can look up what Man of Steel or whatever
Man
their
of
Saturday
Steel is,
night, whatever their Saturday night movies do.
yeah,
So I don't, yeah, and the ratings, like to us, I never got why fans were so angry, or still today get angry about the ratings. We can't do anything about that, and most of us, it's still Nielsen based. There's nothing we can do. So you can
yeah.
watch, I can watch. We don't have Nielsen boxes. Doesn't fucking matter.
But
It's
also like we don't really know the streaming numbers. Like
yeah,
I don't know how many people. I mean, I don't know if this is really, but I don't know how many people are watching like when Raw drops on Peacock like 4 weeks later.
yeah,
I don't know how many people are actually watching that. For all we know, there could be another million people watching that. And like the same thing, like we don't really know the DVR numbers. So there could be like another 800,000 people watching Dynamite on Thursday or Friday.
yeah. We don't
And then
know.
and there could be people who I know people who pirate Dynamite. We don't know those
Yeah.
numbers either. So
Yeah, a lot of people still do that. They don't live here, they live in different countries, comes on at different times, things like that. I don't know what WWE's doing with their TV deals. I think a negotiation tactic should be to get Raw the next day on Peacock because a month later is absurd. Like
well,
you
they were
gotta,
doing that because I understand why they wanted that because of the network. Because they were
yeah,
like, well, then everyone will just get the network. I remember Michael Che said to me, I got the network so I could watch Raw the next day, and it's not on there. I remember he
yeah,
came to me and said that, and I said, yeah, they wait a month because they want you to get cable. He was like, oh man. So
yeah.
yeah,
I mean, well, they're all now
but
connected.
now it's all together. Yeah, it should be the
Yeah,
next day.
so we'll see if NBC
SmackDown, I
buys
can
it, if
understand
Disney
them still
buys it.
waiting a month, or
Yeah.
putting it right on Hulu, and then Peacock gets it a month later because
SmackDown might come back right back. You never know.
But dude, I would put SmackDown on NBC. That'd be huge. I mean,
I mean, they need a Friday thing too. So
yeah.
they,
Um, yeah. So that's all. And I also think if this number stays and CM Punk does not go to Dynamite, I think that pretty much proves that that AEW needs CM Punk way more than they need the Elite and Kenny Omega. I've said this before. I said this years ago. I think the thing holding AEW back the most was the four founders, and we got rid of one, and he's the. I think those three guys kind of hold the company back from being a better show. So
what, just their
just
characters or what?
the corniness, the inherent
Okay.
corniness, and the Hangman Page kind of has it too. Like the being the elite style of humor, I think is no
Hmm.
mainstream appeal.
I
I think
think it,
CM Punk's humor has more appeal.
tell him when he's telling lies. But
Yeah,
I think, I wouldn't call it an issue, but one reason I don't get super into the Elite, and I don't dislike any of them, is that you have to, it's almost like MCU. You have to watch Being the Elite to get this little head nod thing that they do that everyone's like, oh man, that called back to Being the Elite number 23. And
yeah, I
Being
don't
the
care.
Elite's like fucking 33 minutes long. I'm like, oh, look, I don't have time to watch extra wrestling on top of the wrestling that I'm watching. And this isn't even wrestling. This is your comedy show. Like,
And it's horrible.
oh,
Like they'll do a thing where they talk over each other, and then like one character will be saying something, and Matt or Nick will be saying stuff under their breath, like which they think is funny. Like it's just like it's really not good. I've skimmed it, and it's like message board humor for like one message board. It's like
it
a lot of
seems about right.
yeah,
I've seen
and
some of them and I've like enjoyed the ones that I've seen, but like I haven't watched it in years. When it was hot the first time, I watched some of them, but it's been a very long time.
yeah,
I don't care.
I think their time is come and gone, and if they're gonna be divas about the CM Punk thing, be like, well, hit the bricks.
Do you
CM Punk.
think they'll jump in to WWE?
I think they should. I think if they wanna be known as the best, I think a Young Bucks Usos WrestleMania main event is not out of the question. I could see that happening. And I same thing with Kenny Omega. If you want to tell me you're the best, you need to go to WWE for a little bit, because I feel like now at this point you can say fuck Vince, you could say that, and if you just want to make a living wrestling and not involve yourself with Vince, that's fine, right? Or in
Yeah,
WWE. But if you want to say that you're the best of all time, you've got to go there and prove it, because then you'll never really be the best of all time. You know?
yeah, yeah,
Can you main event WrestleMania and have the entire world on its feet? Can your action figures outsell John Cena? Can your fucking posters outsell Trish Stratus? Those are the things we need to know.
yeah. I mean, I think also their style of wrestling, if they're all getting older, they're all getting a little more beat
Mhm.
up. If they want to take it a little more easy, the WWE, I know WWE has their live event schedule isn't as grueling as it used to,
No, it's not.
but
It's not. But
but
I think the Young Bucks versus the Usos, I think that's a great.
yeah, also new opportunities. Do you want to fight the Usos or do you want to fight the Acclaim? The Acclaim, nothing wrong with the Acclaim, but who do you want? What's next for
Also
you?
DIY. Young Bucks versus
DIY whenever they
DIY.
come back.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, all the other Kevin Owens,
I'm
Sami Zayn, if they're still a team.
they
I
will
know they,
be.
I
They
know
I
they
think
have a friendship.
what do we call the other tag? The Creed brothers.
And Creed, I like the Creeds. I like those guys. Hope they're
Um
not racist. The
MSK
Creeds.
if they ever reunite.
I don't think that guy's ever coming back, unfortunately.
I know. I
Dash.
feel like MJF is like, I think MJF is like too like, you will know MJF has let a political stroke if that guy ever gets hired back in a company MJF's in. So I think MJF is like really trying to angle to get that guy back in. Even,
Yeah.
yeah,
But
whatever
he's
he's.
also yeah. I mean, I don't think he's going anywhere. I know he
I
talks
think
about it too much to leave.
I kind of think he is too.
That would suck for them.
Yeah, I kind of think the only guy who's gonna like be like faithful is like Darby Allin. I feel like he's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah. Sammy Guevara, maybe, and all the old
But
guys
you know what,
who were in WWE.
Sammy Guevara can go to Impact for all I care, and he can go wrestle Tyrus. That guy sucks. Fuck him.
But then he like no show Impact once. He was like supposed to be on Impact as
The
part of their
storyline wasn't
deal.
good enough for him.
Yeah, yeah, he's something like that. They didn't want
He didn't want to lose the Black Taurus.
to. Yeah.
So because he's so much better than Black Taurus. All
Yeah,
right, so
Impact.
let's go back in time to October 1989. We're going to talk today about Halloween Havoc. And let me just tell you something, Kyle. I'll say this before we get into your real thoughts. If you like tag team wrestling, if you're like, there's not enough tag team wrestling, then you need to stop what you're doing and watch this show. Because this show had more fucking tag matches than I've ever seen on a single show.
You're not wrong.
What did you think of the show overall?
I thought it was fine. The problem, I'm sure, it was better in 1990. The
1989.
89, my bad. I say 90 because there's something I want to call back to later.
Mm-hmm.
But the thoughts, like I don't have all of like similar to the last one, I don't have all of the build. I don't really know, even though the commentators talk about it, I don't know how they got here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little like the investment is not as strong. They don't do video packages, and it's 89. They don't
Well,
do things like that. So I'm not like
I
as
watched
invested.
because I'm doing this chronologically. I watched the last two pay-per-views, which were Wrestle War and Great American Bash, and they were
Mhm.
great. And they were really like fast moving. The matches were fucking awesome. The storylines were great. Like really captivating shows. And this show kind of fell off, and I'm like, something feels different. And then Ole Anderson walked out with Ric Flair, and I'm like, all right, that guy, that guy does become one of the bookers soon. I go, that guy
Mhm.
wouldn't be on TV already if he wasn't already the booker. And I'm like, that's why this show feels different, because this old fucking failure is back to book, you know?
Yeah, I didn't know who was booking the show, but I
But
know he's not very popular.
it did feel different. Also, I don't know if I don't know if you didn't notice, but there's no Paul Heyman on this show, and he was with the Bloodline. They call him the Samoan SWAT team. I call him the Bloodline. He was with the OG Bloodline on the last two shows, and suddenly he's gone on this.
Oh,
He does
interesting.
come back, but he's gone suddenly. So I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, but
He really does fuck with the Samoans.
he really, like that's what made these. By the way, the fucking bloodline storyline, because I've got to the Samoan SWAT team storyline while the bloodline's been imploding the last few months.
Mhm.
but it makes their matches so much better, especially when Paul Heyman's out there, because you're looking for hints of how the Roman Reigns storyline is going to end. I know they're not connected, but it
Yeah.
almost kind of feels like they are, you
I'm
know?
sure he's calling back to something that they did back then.
Mm-hmm.
Which is they're doing great, by the way. I know we're not talking about it. That
Oh man,
storyline is
that's one of the
just
best storylines.
yeah, every week. Even when I get tired of it, they find some way to bring you back in. You're like, oh shit, okay.
Yeah, no, it's fucking great. So let's go with the first match. Tom Zink defeated Mike Rotunda, who's doing his gimmick, Captain Mike Rotunda. What the storyline for that was, he got into a lot of money, so he bought a boat and he called himself Captain Mike. And Captain Mike loses to Tom Zink. Um, I mean, this match was very whatever to me. I was trying to like really get into it because we're doing a podcast about this show, and but man, there's someone who makes my eyes glaze over. It's Mike fucking Rotunda, IRS. What did you think of this match?
I mean, I think the continuity now of his character buying a boat and then later becoming IRS. Maybe he learned about the taxes of a boat and he was like, "Fuck this! I'm
He
gonna
lost
come
all
in
his
the
money, and then he
counter."
had to go become. He had to go work for the IRS.
Like, I hate this. What do you mean boat taxes? And then he became what he hates.
Mm-hmm.
That's my head canon. But no, I was when it started, it sounded like both of them got booed, like Tom Zink
Yeah.
and Mike Return. I was like, oh, okay. The weirdest thing about seeing the Z-Man as my memories as a kid, I used to have a couple of the WCW loops.
Mm-hmm.
They were just kind of given to me, and one was Sting, of course, and the other one was Tom Zink, but I didn't know who he was. So I thought he was like the Strike Force Rick Martel. So that's what I would use him
Oh
as a
wow.
kid. I didn't really know who the Z Man was until much later. Uh, but
For
yeah, it
some
was just a
reason,
match.
when I was a kid, I thought Tom Zink was like a secretly a good worker. You know, like because I didn't really watch a lot of NWA. I'm like, oh, but secret, but like real G's know Tom Zink's pretty good, and he's not good.
Yeah,
He's not. Now I'm watching this. I'm like,
just
that's things.
oh, I don't think he's that good either. But no, I think he's also just kind of had that look. As a kid, you're
Mm,
not looking at work rate unless you were growing up on the dirt sheets and crap. And even then, you don't know what the hell that means. So you're
yeah,
just like,
yeah.
oh, he's a good guy. He's got long hair. He looks like he knows what he's doing. And
Mhm.
sometimes they don't.
But also, you can also tell like NWA fans and I think they officially become WCW next year, but the NWA WCW fans are a little bit more smarter,
Yeah,
like smart markier. I'm not gonna say smarter because they probably all fuck their cousins,
I'm
but
not signing off on that.
smart markier because they realize these two guys aren't that good of workers and they just start booing it. They're like, move on. We want to see the wrestling.
Immediately,
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, okay, whatever.
Yeah. Whereas WWE fans back in the day would have been like, here's IRS versus fucking Man Mountain Rock. And people are going to kind of just sit there and watch it and be like, okay.
Yeah,
They're not,
that happens.
yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get to Razor Ramon soon enough.
He's got the
And
guitar.
yeah, here they're like, get this the fuck out of my ring.
The first match, ew.
Yeah, it was long too. It was 13 minutes.
Yeah,
Next up, by the way, just so everyone knows, this event takes place in Philly. Well, they're also in Philly. Um,
yeah. Philly was.
the fans are really crazy. They're
Oh
not.
yeah,
They don't suffer bullshit, as we'll find out in ECW. Um, Samoan SWAT team, Fatu, the Samoan Savage, and Samu. Samoan Savage doesn't really last long. With Oliver Humperdinck, who's taking Paul Heyman's place. They take on Jim Cornette's team of the Midnight Express and Steve Williams. The first thing I have to say about this match, very weird, and it does not work. Jim Cornette as a face. That is very weird.
that threw me off.
That doesn't work at all. And then the other thing I have to say is this was a pretty good six-man tag match. I really enjoyed it. One of the things people are saying is that, people think the Gorillas of Destiny are going to come in and help out Roman with the bloodline. And people are like, they're Tongan, they're Tongan, they're Tongan. Well, here was a guy, the Samoan Savage in WWE. He was known as the Tongan Kid. He's Tongan. They consider him family. The Tongans are considered family to Roman's family. So it would work if they're in the bloodline.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I didn't know. I mean, I didn't know that was a rumor either. That'd be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I don't know what Jacob Fatu's up to. I know he's actually like another one who's with, I think, in the lineage. I don't.
Yeah, there's
They
so
have a
much.
lot of.
There's so many of
They have
them.
a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where it's gonna go for them, but this match, like, yeah, when I saw Jim Cornette, I was like, well, obviously the Midnight Express of the heels, and then I see him being a babyface, and I'm just like, this is
Weird.
not what I am used to at all. The
Yeah.
polyester, the tennis racket, getting cheers, all that. And yeah, the match was fine. Like, it was a fine match. It was interesting seeing Fatu in WCW too. You know, you're so used to head shrinkers and
Yeah.
Shishi and all the other multiple gimmicks he had in the WWE. So that was different. But yeah, I mean, it's a big step up from Tom Zink.
But yeah, no, it was a pretty good match. I like this Samoan team. I'm appreciating their work more in WCW and NWA than I ever did as the Head Shrinkers. We'll see how I feel as we get to 93, 92 when they join that company.
I feel the
Um,
same.
but so far pretty good. Now here comes I thought the fucking worst match of the show. I actually put on a Nintendo Direct during this match. Tommy Rich defeated the Cuban Assassin. And let me just tell you something. If there were ever two wrestlers that just stunk of failure, that just stunk of went nowhere in the 80s, wrestled in gyms, and then died penniless, I think they're both still alive, which is
I
the crazy
think
part.
so, yes.
Tommy Rich looks like a guy. Okay, so there's a timeline where Tommy Rich committed suicide after murdering 15 hookers. And when
What?
he reversed it, somehow he went back and reversed that. And that's why he when he reversed it, it unleashed a curse, and that's why Eddie Guerrero's dead. Owen Hart
No,
fell
oh
off a
my
building.
god. he
Ultimate
disrupted
Warrior died of a heart attack.
he disrupted a canon event.
Yes, he disrupted the canon event. Yeah, because he looks. I can't believe that guy is still alive. He literally looks like a dude who should have murdered his fucking daughter after fucking her and then killing himself. And he's alive, and I mean he's looks like shit, but it's just bizarre. I don't know. It just feels like this match sucked. What'd you think?
I don't endorse any of this theory.
He disrupted his canon event.
I
That's why Warrior
know.
had a stroke.
Oh my
Warrior
god.
right now should be on Joe Rogan.
Oh boy, Oreo would have been canceled.
Oh,
This is a terrible thing to say, but dying was probably the best move for him because he would not have survived.
PR wise,
Yeah,
it
he
was
would.
great because his wife can go and be like, no, he changed his views. He did.
Yeah.
Warrior right now. First of all, WWE would have cut ties with him like literally
Yeah, he would have.
Warrior, his wife still works for the company, so she wouldn't
Yeah,
even value the company. Warrior right now would be on Fox News screaming about Target.
he would be.
Yeah.
It would be bad. So it wasn't his call, but the call that was made, that was a smart one for his career. But for the rest of his legacy.
Yeah.
But I did not.
Nobody can ever really say, people can say things bad about him, but all the wife is like, well, he changed his views before he died. Thanks.
Yeah. They had two documentaries about, like, you know what? He wasn't that bad. Like,
Yeah.
even Dark Side of the Ring, where everyone was like, oh, they're gonna rip into him. They kind of were like, no, he was all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you really can't debate it.
Yeah, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But no, this match I did not care. I'll let you know right now. I didn't care. I had work to do.
Yeah,
I
no.
did my
When
work. Once I saw the Cuban assassin, I was just like, I'm down. Why is this going?
it's just like, even though they had a lot of great wrestling the last few months in NWA, and I don't know how the TV shows were, but if they're sitting around being like, how come Vince is kicking our ass? I just be like, Cuban Assassin Tommy Rich. That's why, bro. That's why. You put that, you charge pay-per-view money in 89. People had to fucking go get a box to watch this. And you put that match in the ring.
And Tommy, wasn't he in like the last Battle of Atlanta? He was like in a big deal.
Tommy Rich was a huge deal, and it all fell apart, and it's been falling apart ever since. It's falling apart to this day. But somehow maybe he's a great guy. I don't know, but I just feel you're right. There's a canon event, and when he disrupted it, Chris, something snapped in Benoit's brain.
Not has anything to do with Benoit. Well, yeah, he was supposed to be in the last Battle of Atlanta.
He was. That was like he was never the same after that.
Yeah, I guess it just didn't hit the way.
And he also was NWA champion. The rumor was he got the belt because he blew one of the bookers.
Oh boy, Tommy, what's going on?
He's 66. That's pretty young. Now, let's see. I'm looking at his Wikipedia, see if he's done any. What's his newest update?
Is it
Yeah,
still
for him
on?
ECW. He still wrestles.
That's wild. In the last Battle
And he's
of
married
Atlanta,
to one
apparently...
woman, has 3 daughters in 6th grade. So what I'm telling you is like, like if you look at even a modern photo of him, he just looks like a mess. But
Yeah.
somehow he's not. It's very impressive.
Buzz Sawyer died very young.
I know he was a dick. I heard.
Yeah, yeah. Seems
But
about
look, doesn't he look? He looks like he murdered people.
right.
But he's
He may or may not. We don't know.
yeah, he went back in time and disrupted the
This
game.
is the theory, the canon event.
And caused and then that was when the fucking thing snapped on Owen Hart's
That no god.
because the
You will
universe
not.
had to be balanced.
This podcast will never be invited to the AEW press events.
I'll be like, do you believe Owen Hart died because Tommy Rich disrupted his canon event?
Or WWE one, they will kick you right out.
I'm telling you, it's not Vince's fault after all. Anyway, no, then they'll like me. Like, yes, it was his canon event.
Yeah, Canada. Imagine explaining a canon event to Vince McMahon.
Yeah. What the hell are you talking about? So anyway, oh, let me pull up the match list. So the next match is the battle to see who can sexually harass most women in WWE in 2018. It is the Dynamite Dudes versus the Fabulous Freebirds.
Yeah.
Fucking Michael Hayes wins the belt. He doesn't win the war. Johnny Ace won that war. Again, Jim Cornette is still a face. He's with these guys, and it's weird. Michael Hayes and Jimmy Garvin look, again, two guys who just look like shit. They look like failures. But I'll tell you what, the crowd fucking hated the Dynamite Dudes.
Oh my
They
god,
loved
yeah.
it when the Fabulous Freebirds won.
They were all over them. I thought the Dynamic Dudes was a babyface team.
They are.
Yeah, I mean that seemed
Supposed to
about
be.
right. That was like the Freebirds, to my knowledge, don't really get cheered that often. I'm sure they were faces at some point, but it was weird seeing how. I
Because,
mean, I just think maybe it was a Philly thing. That's what I thought. I was
well,
like
I
thinking,
think all people detected their Rockers ripoff. They're not as good workers as the Rockers.
yeah,
And it was like they were trying to tap into like the Fox Kids crowd. They were trying to appeal to like kids who like Ninja Turtles, and they weren't. They weren't going to do that. You know, the thing about it is like, as a kid, I wanted to watch more NWA. I couldn't. So even if I like the Dynamic Dudes, I can't. There's no way for me to show my support in merch. There's no way
yeah,
for me to show my support in going to the arena. There's no way. Whereas Hogan, I have plenty of ways to show my support.
yeah. I was all over the place.
So
WCW coming to New York was a rarity. I wish I was. I knew
yeah,
I was never able to go when they were here, and
yeah.
they're only here like 5 times or
I
something.
wish I'd gone to see them in Philly. Looking back, but like that crowd, they figured it out. You're trying to appeal to little kids and fuck these guys. And even though the Freebirds look like garbage, there are garbage. So we're gonna cheer for them over the Dynamic Dudes.
That's exactly what happened.
Johnny Ace has to be. You know, you ever heard of Fail Upwards?
Yes.
He's fucking the king of that because he looks like garbage here, and somehow he wants to become one of the most powerful guys in wrestling history.
Just a master of failing upwards
Master of Failing Upwards. But
until
I thought
canceled.
I did think I did. Let me just say for the work rate, even though I don't like the Dynamic Dudes, I thought the match was pretty good considering the four guys in the ring. What did you think?
No, I didn't think it was a bad match, and the fans being into it like definitely helps.
Yeah.
So that helps. Even a mid match, when the fans are super invested, you're like, oh shit, okay, cool. So
Mhm.
yeah, I didn't think it was a bad match. I was just surprised at the crowd reaction.
Yeah. No. That well,
Jimmy Cornette.
Dynamic Dudes is probably one of the. And then you have Jim Cornette with them, and it's like that doesn't help them. Like they're supposed to be these really cool young dudes. They're hanging out with like this guy looks like he goes to porno theaters. It's like I don't know, and he does. All right, from here the show gets a lot better though. One of my favorite tag teams of all time, Doom.
Yes.
Doom comes out, and they take on the Steiner brothers, and this was a great match. I love this match. What did you think?
I didn't have a problem with this match. I mean, you get the Steiners, you got Doom, you got Woman. Everyone here knows what the hell they're doing in the ring. Like no one is there's no qualms here. Like
Yeah,
it's a
and
hard hitting match, but
I wonder. I honestly feel like if Butch Reed could still go remember when Farouk broke up with The Rock.
yeah,
I would have rather seen Doom reunite than have APA. I just think
yeah,
that they're a hell of a tag team. They look great. It's probably the best Butch Reed ever was, and made Ron Simmons into a superstar. I love that tag team. I think it's masks or no masks. I think fucking Doom is one of the most underrated tag teams of all time.
I would agree with that. I haven't watched a lot of good Doom matches, but anytime I do, I'm like all about it.
And of course, Giselle Shaw interferes to cost Rick Steiner.
Uh,
But
all that time, the time warp just messed up everything.
they
What
can.
a stupid fucking thing for him to say. I know we're months away from it, but even if those are your beliefs, what you dumb idiot. What a dumb thing to
Oh, what
say.
a fucking. And then
Like,
like, you're more relevant than ever because your son is all over WWE TV. He
yeah.
looks just like you. I mean, they asked him about it the other day, and he had to
Yeah,
do
he
it.
was
It's
like,
not my beliefs, but it's like, why does your son have to answer for that?
yeah,
Why can't your son just stand on his own 2 feet? Now you,
which he was trying to do, and then you fucked it up.
yeah, you fucked it up so bad. It's just like so fucking dumb, and it's just like just keep it to
Yeah,
yourself, bro. Like shut the fuck
yeah.
up, you know. And
I
it's
don't
just
think he got in any trouble. I think he still has a Legends contract, and
yeah, they're
he's
still making a
still,
figure of his, but I
yeah,
think the problem is that like he'll never be able to do like a regular convention again or anything.
yeah. He's banned from WrestleCon for life.
And poor Scott, I mean Scott Steiner had nothing to do with that. I mean, from what we know, and like you're
Yeah,
almost like you punish so many people because of your stupid fucking actions. Just when
yeah,
the industry was like bringing you back in, you know?
yeah. Exactly. It's a really dumb thing to say. Hey, Scott Steiner can make money on his own, but I can understand the appeal of seeing the Steiner brothers,
Yeah.
which
And there's maybe like, hey, one day it's just Scott alone, the next day it's Rick and Scott. It's like
yeah, they could have.
there's more money opportunities when Rick Steiner's
Yeah,
not a transphobe, but
exactly. I mean, I don't agree with anyone who believes that way anyway, but if you do believe that way, like, why would you say that publicly in a convention when someone else is just trying to make money and meet fans, do the same thing you're doing?
I have a theory that he was really turned on by her, and he was like in the back with Kevin Nash, being like, "Oh, you know who I is so hot? I would fuck shit out of is Giselle Shaw." And Nash like, "Yeah, she's transgender," and he was like, "What?" And he like couldn't handle it, you know.
That
Like,
is how Kevin
I'm
Nash
a
sounds.
sinner. What?
That is how Kevin Nash sounds when he talks.
She's a she's a transgender woman. That's cool. You're into it though, bro. What? And then
Wasn't
like,
there some story recently that Kevin Nash? Someone said that Kevin. Oh no, I'm thinking about somebody else.
Kevin Nash is very liberal.
Yeah, he's become very liberal.
When you realize that like everyone talks shit about Nash and everyone that talks shit about everyone that was feeding Dave Meltzer info because all the thing about Nash that we heard back in the day was like he's selfish and he's this and he's that. And then you realize like it was all Republicans saying that about him. Like, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense because he was probably there being like, yeah, I think gays have the right to live. Like this guy's a fucking troublemaker,
They're like, I hate this guy.
politician.
Why is he in the main
This
event?
guy doesn't care about wrestling.
And
Calling Dave Meltzer, he's selfish.
in the long run, he's smart. He looks better than most of the people. He's got his
Yeah.
money. He's about his money. Like,
I
made
just
sure
think
he was in the best
I just
position.
think black people shouldn't be harassed by the cops. Hey, Dave, this fucking Kevin Nash is ruining WCW.
He won't push anybody. He won't push me, Chris
Won't
Jericho.
push Jericho's like, I'm gonna go to a KK rally. I don't think that's a good idea, bro. He's holding down Chris Jericho.
Oh, Jericho.
So yeah, so when you do like when you start to realize like everyone who's like such a cool dude is like a Republican like Kane, and everyone
Yeah.
who's an asshole was a Democrat. There was an episode of Steve Austin's podcast where Goldberg goes like,
Uh-oh.
I don't mean to get political, but
Here we
if you
go.
vote for Trump, you have to be a fucking moron. And Austin was like, let's not go down that road. Oh, this is the audio. All right, but I was on the Celebrity Apprentice. That guy's a fucking idiot. Right? And it's like, oh, that's why people hate Goldberg. That's why. Okay.
I didn't see. I thought Goldberg would have been Republican because he went off Rihanna, uh, like recently with the
Oh,
Super
well,
Bowl
maybe
performance,
he.
and then
There's some Republicans who just don't like Trump,
that
so maybe
too.
he's one of those. But
I mean,
that's
these
cool.
guys
I
are
mean,
all rich. I just assume that they're all voting for their money, and if they're
well,
not, then it surprises me.
yeah.
But
Well,
I just
Kevin Nash doesn't. That's why he's a troublemaker in the
yeah.
Clippers.
I remember Austin was liking like "Let's Go Brandon" memes publicly, and people were like, "What, Steve?
Yeah. Well, I mean, the other
Use the
thing too is
bookmarks."
you could be a Democrat, but not like Joe Biden. That's
That's true. I mean, you never know with these people.
the problem with politics now is like you're either an Autobot or a Decepticon, and it's like
Yeah,
no, how about I just don't like Eric Adams, but I'm still a Democrat.
yeah, no, that does that. It's either one or the other, especially on social media.
Mhm. Yeah. Um. So as you notice, I always wear a shirt from someone that's on the show. I'm wearing my Lex Luger shirt.
Oh, package.
Um. So I've been having a revelation here on the show and with my co-host, and we talked about this a little bit when you were on Great American Bash, but it's kind of a streak. Legs Luger was actually a very good worker, and for some reason there's this thing out there that he sucks, and it's just not true. If I mean he's in the business shorter than Austin Theory. If Austin Theory was having matches like this, he'd already be world champion. This is no different than the last few shows I've watched. Legs Luger has a great match with Brian Pillman. I thought this
Yeah,
was the best match on the show. What did you think?
I thought it was good. I mean, I'm not a Luger person. I am a Brian Pillman person. I love
Mm-hmm.
Brian Pillman. I've always loved Brian Pillman.
Mm-hmm.
I hate. I mean, I don't know what his original music was, but and they can't fix this. They have the money to. They don't want to. Just and this is one of my problems with the whole pay per view. The music
Yeah,
cuts and all that, then it gets silent, and you can just tell that that's not the fucking sound. You're like,
and
this
that's
ain't.
not the reaction the guy actually.
Yeah, and they're getting. You see them like Brian Pillman has this really cool looking entrance with the cheerleaders. And you're
Mm-hmm.
like, this is not his music. Luger
There's
has the I think it was one of his WWE 2K songs is,
yeah.
is what they inserted in. But no, I thought it was a good match, a good clash of styles. Hell, they're even wearing blue and red, so like
Dude,
they were contrasting 100%.
I was surprised that, because I don't know why I thought Brian Pillman was small. He was not small. And like
I think
he
he
they're
got smaller like over
yeah, they're
time.
giving him like a monster push here and they're positioning him in a way, and I'm like, oh, I totally buy this. I totally buy that he can stand next to Flair, Sting, and Luger. And then for some reason they kind of go away from that and try to make him
Yeah,
like a cruiserweight in the future. But like here, it's like you could tell they're pushing him as a heavyweight.
yeah,
I'm like, yeah, I could have bought this guy as the guy. I don't know why they stopped, but this guy could have been like on the same level as Sting and Luger, like as one of the top
yeah.
guys. I thought this was just such a good match, and these two gelled so well. So
No, I agree with that. It's a shame. I mean, his career got cut short. He had the Hollywood Blondes, which
mm-hmm.
that was a great team, a short lived team. They're only around for like 8 months or so, but they were like a great team. I wish he was able to do more in WWE. Unfortunately, that didn't happen.
No,
But no, it was good. It was a good match.
it was good. It was a really good match. And again, like, dude, since the last time you were on Great American Bash '88, Legs Luger has not had a bad match on pay per view, which is pretty impressive. I mean, and one time he was wrestling fucking Michael Hayes, so the guy's good. Um,
Maybe it was the accident that made it kind of his
Maybe.
career.
I'm curious to see when he stops having good matches, because like it's been over a year now, and like if I was a fan, I would be like, if I was on these shows live, I'd be like, hey, I know Luger's gonna deliver. He always delivers.
Yeah.
And it's just like they've beaten into our heads that he's not that good, and he sucks, he's not in the Hall of
Yeah,
Fame.
it's because the Lex expressed it. He's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
What? Really?
Yeah. I don't know
Okay.
what they're waiting for. There's some people they will hold grudges over. And there's some I kind of feel like this is what I think down deep, Vince. I think
Mhm.
Vince feels like if he didn't show up in that first Nitro, like they never would have given
Oh yeah,
like I don't he probably doesn't blame Nash and Hall for going over there because the momentum had already started. I
yeah.
feel like he feels that if Luger didn't do that, Hall
That wouldn't have
and Nash wouldn't have
happened.
wanted to go over there.
Yeah,
It would have been like, we'll just stay here.
yeah. No, that's exactly probably what would happen.
Yeah.
He did it first. It was a surprise. It was the
Mhm.
live show. He had the Seinfeld shirt on, and it was a
Yeah, so I feel like he
big
blames him
deal.
more than Bischoff or Nash or
Yeah, I could see that.
Mhm.
But come on, it's fucking you won
But
the war.
move
It's
on.
over.
Yeah, you won, and the guy's in a wheelchair, and he suffered, and he had
They
to
didn't
watch.
even win the. You won the war again because nobody bought the WCW figure pack thing. the custom WCW.
They're gonna keep winning. It doesn't.
Yeah, it got up to like 60% or something. And then when I put in for it, like my brother and I, like he's like, "You
Oh
want it?" I'm
wow.
like, "Sure." I mean, I don't really buy that many rings and stuff, but I was just like, "Why not?" But it didn't make its money. So look, you won. Let him go in the
Yeah,
damn
you
Hall
can't
of
keep
Fame.
winning, but
Yeah,
To Vince, one win is never enough. All right,
never.
next match, which they had a little hot streak going, and then they put this match in the middle. The Skyscrapers, Sid Vicious and Dan Spivey with Teddy Long, Holla player. This is when he started putting on those taking on the Road Warriors. I did not like this match. There's so many. Again, you have been watching the ones I've been watching. Every fucking pay per view, the Legion of Doom has a screwy finish, and I'm
Yeah,
like, these guys are supposed to be dominant. These guys are supposed to be like, can you just let them win some matches? Like, you're not letting them win any matches. I didn't like this match that much. Sid Vicious looked like a star, but other than that, the match really didn't do much for me. What did you think of this match?
yeah, I felt the same way. But wasn't that the problem? Wasn't that why they left after shortly after this? Because
Yeah,
they
I think
just
they
like
left because it's like if these guys don't, if the Legion of Doom doesn't win, the gimmick's over. Like there's
yeah,
nothing they have to win unless you're gonna pivot the gimmick. And when they did try that with the drug addiction, it didn't work. But
no, not at all.
in order for this incarnation of Road Warriors to work, they have to win, and they're just never
Yeah,
winning. And they're not losing either, so it
it's just
just
they're
doesn't mean
just
anything.
there. Yeah, it doesn't
What do
mean
you think
anything
of
for
the
anyone.
match? Was very. What do you think of the match? Did you find it boring or?
I wasn't that invested, even though I knew, like, I know Sid's career, I know Legion of Doom for the most part. Dan Spivey, not as much. Even though, was he Waylon Mercy or was
He
that
does
somebody else?
become Waylon Mercy,
Okay, yeah.
and then he leaves, and Mark Calloway takes his place.
Oh, yeah.
8 months.
He doesn't become Waylon Mercy for a long time. It's
Mm-hmm.
like 89, then 95 he came in. And
Yeah, he
that
becomes.
also came and went for whatever reason.
Wow.
But yeah, I wasn't super invested in it, but it was a match. That's all I can say.
It was a match. I think they thought this was like their second main event, and it was like, no, it was just a match.
It was not. It was Luger Pillman.
So here we go with the main event. The main event is after months of feuding, we're gonna settle this in the Thunderdome cage. There was nobody watching on Zoom though, which was sad.
No.
We have Terry Funk and the Great Muta taking on Sting and Ric Flair. Bruno Sammartino is the referee, but you really don't need a referee because the only way to win is for your manager to throw in the towel. Terry Funk and Great Muta have Gary Hart, and Ric Flair has Ole Anderson, who is one of the worst faces of all time. Again, this was a show where a bunch of unlikable pricks were the good guys, and you're like, no. Um, First of all, what did you think of this match?
I thought it was. I thought the teams were interesting because, like, usually when I see Ric Flair and Sting teaming up, I'm like, oh, he's gonna turn on him, some shit like that.
This
I think the last show I watched, Flair was a heel. Last time I watched with you, I think Flair was a heel.
he fought Lex Luger as a heel, a Great American.
Yeah, yeah. And now he's a face, and I know that happens a lot in his career. So to see him and Sting together, that's always kind of a mind fuck. And same with Terry Funk and the Great Muta, you're just like, that's a badass team.
Yeah,
I
that is.
I thought the cage didn't really like leave much. It was just kind of there.
Mhm. They had to
Uh,
pretend the top was electrified.
yeah, I was
I know he
like,
knows the Great Muta touched the part, and I think Sting was like that supposed to be electrocuted and went and then Sting went too. So it's it really is electrified.
yeah.
And
There were some interesting commentary parts, like Jim Ross took a shot at the Ultimate Warrior for no reason.
I missed that. What did he say?
Because he was like, he used to be part of this team, the Blade Runners, Sting, and then like he's doing what he's in a much better like shape than his partner or something like that. He's in something weird like
I don't think
that.
he was in better shape. He's a better worker.
Or doing a much better trajectory of his partner right now than what even the Ultimate Warrior was on the
Well,
path.
that's also not true.
Yeah, he
Had the
was
second
gonna
belt, and
like
Sting had no belt. So
yeah, he was the Intercontinental Champion or just lost the Intercontinental title, to my knowledge.
he just won the title back at SummerSlam '88, which we covered. SummerSlam '89, which we covered last week.
Yeah, and
So
then yes, because it's gonna
main
because he's
eventing most of the
yeah
house shows. So.
yeah, and it's about to be title for title in a few months.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's a weird jab at the Ultimate Warrior for no reason.
Yeah, no
And
reason, and it just makes him look second rate. Like you can say Sting's a better worker and more charismatic, and
yeah,
better wrestler. I'll agree with that. But don't tell me that Ultimate Warrior is a fucking failure and Sting's a success. It's like,
Yeah, I think that's what he was trying to get at, and I
no.
was like, it just made me think of the Warrior instead. And then he says this
And now
weird
because
comment.
now I'm like, I want to watch more Ultimate Warrior. Thanks for reminding
Yeah, at least I mean there'll be quick matches,
me.
most of them. But then, like for whatever reason, when I think when Muda was on the cage, like, he's gotta be careful. He's like, you don't want to end up being like a fried wonton. And I was like, that's not even Japanese. I was like, holy shit. Why would you say that? But that's not even a Japanese food. So okay, Jim. But no, I thought the match was cool. I thought Sting is always so impressive. The figure fours and the diving onto Terry Funk at the same time, like that fucking sucks. Like it's cool, but like to take that like as a wrestler, like
Mhm.
holy shit,
Yeah.
that must hurt. I thought that was cool.
Mhm.
The ending was weird about the towel and
Yes.
I was getting punched. And I was like, oh, like, was that supposed to happen? I was like, I
That was
guess.
weird. That was a weird ending because Great Muda's not doing anything wrong. He's trying to stay
Yeah.
Terry Funk, and Bruno just hits him, and I'm like,
Yeah, that
wait a
did
minute,
happen
these
too.
guys are double teaming. Why can't Great Muda double team with Terry Funk?
Yeah. It's
And
that
like,
baby.
yeah, my problem with this match, and I think it hurt it, was the rules. They had to throw in the tawel. So what
Mm,
happens if both guys like, you know what, fuck it, we're just never gonna throw in the towel. Let's
yeah.
just leave. Does the match is the match still going today?
Just go, yeah, it's going on forever.
Just
I thought Ole Anderson looked like he was about to drop the towel himself. It seemed
yeah,
like he was real close to dropping these big ass towels. So like
I don't like that because then it's like why are you killing like my whole point is like why are you killing yourself because at any given moment what if Holy Anderson just what if the match starts Holy Anderson throws in the towel like fuck you guys you know what I mean
yeah,
like
that's it. It's the other match.
yeah it's like I didn't really like that finish I would rather it be like pin or submission like
Yeah, especially if you're doing the splashes and maybe he splashed them and it was like there's no they still look strong. He had to take a figure for a leg lock,
yeah
process
Terry
two
Funk goes I've
splashes.
had enough yeah
Yeah, to get
also he's a
pinned and then
heel
yeah.
Terry Funk looked in great shape
Yeah, which you don't always see.
yeah.
Like it's funny how like the heels with the faces when they just would just do heel things and you're just supposed to cheer them.
Well, I think like the whole thing with Ric Flair as a face is like he's still the dirtiest player in the game, but now like
Yeah,
he's for the fans, but he's still gonna just be Ric Flair. And Sting has to be like Ric Flair if he's gonna team with Ric Flair.
exactly.
So I think that was like if Ric Flair suddenly was like, I gotta be honorable, it kind of breaks that character. So
No, no one wants an honorable Flair. But I watched this is a WWF tangent. I watched Tuesday in Texas because Peacock sometimes they'll just show they had on random ass pay-per-views on the WWE channel. So I saw the ending of Hogan and The Undertaker at Tuesday in Texas, and I was Hogan, Flair comes out, they interfere. Hogan hits Ric Flair in the back with a chair. You'll get to this when you get to it.
yeah.
Who falls on Jack Tunney. They try and cheat with the urn. He stops him, but then Hogan takes the urn and blinds the Undertaker with ashes, and then rolls him up. And then after winning the match, he takes the title belt and then knocks the Undertaker out with it to go over the ring. And I was like, "What kind of baby face? You are not. This is all heel shit that he
Well, I
was
think like
doing."
they
But
thought because Undertaker cheated to win at the Survivor Series, like we really have to have Hogan just beat this shit and humiliate him.
yeah, no, I
You
get
get
it.
cheating.
Yeah, but like
And
all
also they wanted to
three,
be a screw job so they could get to the Rumble match, but
yeah.
yeah,
Like
no,
it was hardcore cheating. And that
Hogan.
continued. The Rumble pulling out Sid and all. Like, this guy sucks.
Yeah, I think Hogan. I think like 92. Looking back, 92 would have been a good time to turn Hogan, but I think he realized like Vince is eventually going to come to me for that, so he just went away for a while. Also, the
Yeah.
steroids.
Yes.
The steroids and people kind of getting sick of Hogan kind of came together in a perfect storm, so they could.
Yeah. He failed
But
upward.
it'll be interesting when I get to that. I've never, I've never seen the Survivor Series 91 as a kid. I don't want to see it because Hogan lost the belt.
Oh wow.
And I still have just never seen it. And at this point, I'm like, well, you know what? I've waited this long. I'm gonna watch it
It's time.
for the pay. Yeah, why am I gonna watch it now and then watch it again in a few weeks and like
Yeah.
a few months? It's gonna take a while. But Tuesday in Texas I saw because he won. I also have never seen King of the Ring '93 because he lost,
Oh
and I
well,
just kind of stuck to it.
yeah.
But I'm feel like now like I'm excited to watch both events.
Yeah. I mean, it should be interesting. Especially if you're a Bret Hart fan. If King of the Ring '93.
Yeah. I'm excited for his match. I think I did see the Bam and Bigelow match on a DVD. That's a pretty good match. So I
Yeah.
want to see the other Mr. Perfect match because
Yeah,
some
they
people
don't
say
make those anymore. They would just make these compilation DVDs with their life story and
it's
like
so good, bro.
a shit ton
Those
of
were,
matches. Yeah.
dude. I remember when I used to work at Caroline's and they were horrible to me. I had a break. I had to work a morning, then work the night shift, but I had like a 4 hour break. So I came home and I put on one of those DVDs, and for 3 hours I just watched Rey Mysterio and WCW,
Yeah.
and I left so rested. And now you can't do that because Peacock has ads where they scream at you to fucking watch Poker Face, and
Yeah.
like I still have the DVDs though, but like I just wish they would make more. I would love like a DVD of like the best of like I don't know Roman or something, or the best like a Bloodline DVD would be great just to watch.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think they make any DVD or Blu-rays anymore.
They do,
Besides
they do,
WrestleMania.
they make them, but in the UK just got a best of Cody Rhodes DVD.
Oh, that again, that's weird. All right.
So I blame Tony Khan. So you're looking at me like, how do you blame him for that?
I don't know. It's fun. Hey, they got to get
The
on streaming
one thing I'm
themselves.
surprised that AEW doesn't do is they put their events on a DVD. I would love if they put their events on Blu-ray because then I would buy them. And I'm shocked with Tony Khan's fucking money and the way he likes to kind of like throw it down the toilet. He hasn't made
Had to
Blu-rays.
buy Elton John.
Yeah, because I would if you had Blu-rays and you had like and they were in Best Buys, I would probably buy because I like to collect wrestling Blu-rays. I would
Yeah,
probably
there's no real way to rewatch AEW stuff. I don't know if they have all the old ones on.
I think on they're on Bleacher Report, the old ones,
Yeah,
the old Dynamites. I
even
don't know
even
about Rampages.
even the American ones in
Yeah,
Bleacher Report.
I
Okay,
think yeah because they knew that they had to do that to get people in. So I think they're on Bleacher Report, the old Dynamites.
okay.
So I should go check it out because I wouldn't mind rewatching a 2019 Dynamite just to see how different it is now.
Yeah, they don't even have like you. I'm looking this up here. You get like the best of AEW Dark is like an all elite crate exclusive.
On Bleacher Report.
No, on they have their DVD list. I didn't even know that they had like
Oh, they those so they're making best of DVDs.
they made it for Dark,
Well, that's pretty stupid. I mean, I could just
but
go.
you have to be like an AEW cart, like whatever the AEW fan club
Oh,
is.
they didn't. Oh wait, no. This is an Etsy Blu-ray. It's like they did make a Etsy. Somebody in Etsy's making Blu-rays.
Okay, just
Right.
fucking make shit, whatever. I don't understand.
I
Maybe
don't
it's too much money to produce.
Yes, best of AEW Dark and all elite crate exclusive. That's fucking stupid.
Yeah, I mean, there's no way to watch it. I mean, I think that's what the Max is supposed to be for eventually. But if you want to watch old Dynamites, you got about 4 years of footage. Old Dynamites, Rampages, Darks, Ring of Honor, whatever. I don't know. Put it on Max. I know that's the goal
Um,
or a goal, not the goal. But,
what was it? Oh, match no longer planned for Forbidden Door. What's the match? Oh, see, I can't ever CM Punk. That's fine.
uh, they need to do it for the pay per views because All Out and All In are back to back, and I don't look. I
Oh,
love.
CM Punk will wrestle at Forbidden Door, but it's not Kenta.
You think they're swerving people, or it's gonna be Kenta?
I'm gonna make a bold prediction.
Okay.
It's gonna be Tama. It's gonna be one of the girls of Destiny.
You're just trying to get them paid.
I don't know who else you could make him wrestle. Who are they? El Phantasmo? Who's gonna care about that?
I don't
Listen,
know.
I feel like CM Punk is still two moves away from permanently crippling himself. So we need to get these dream matches in. He can't be wrestling what's
Yeah.
his name? Fucking Bobby Fish ever again, like they were doing that. Remember when he would or Dustin Rhodes? CM Punk's gotta fucking
Yeah.
gotta get all the hits in right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who for the New Japan. Oh, what about Naito? He's not doing anything.
Naito. What about Mizori Suzuki?
I can see that.
What about what about fucking what about Great Muda?
Oh, he just retired. Unless they bring him out again, they're like, fuck it.
What about Terry Funk? Just trying to
He'll
think.
do it. Actually, I don't think he's doing that well.
No, he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know.
He
Oh,
called me once.
Hideo. Oh wait, no. Sorry, that's.
That's sick.
Oh
I
wait,
work.
what about Kushida?
That'd be cool. He's around.
Fucking I know.
Forbidden Door doesn't have
Forbidden
to
Door
be
doesn't
New
have to be New
Japan.
Japan.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
he
he
can
can fight
fight.
Alex Shelley or something.
Yes. No, actually, that
Yeah.
would be a great match.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be exclusively New Japan. Unless they
Um,
call this one AWX New Japan. I don't know. but
You can have it. Well, Impact does stuff with New Japan. What
yeah, they're
about
all everybody. Don't make it somebody from fucking Ring of Honor. I don't
Tessa
want
Blanchard? That's what's going
no. Makes her big return
to be.
fighting CM Punk.
Um. So overall, I thought Halloween Havoc is an okay show. It's not the greatest, but hey, if you're a Doom fan, if you're a Lex Luger fan, this is a show for you, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Sting. Sting always looks cool. Yeah,
Yeah. So good times. This to me, this is like vintage. This is like peak WCW. This is when I feel like they were getting people over. I like the NWO, but I feel like the NWO got over because hey, it's the WWF guys now here. Whereas Sting, the Steiners, Doom, even Great Muda feel like WCW stars. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. No, I can get that because I got into WCW in '92,
Mhm.
and I was Jake the Snake got me there.
Yeah.
Uh, but I did enjoy Sting. I enjoyed the Hollywood Blondes, Flair,
Yeah. It
Vader,
just
of course, Vader. But
mhm. It
uh,
just feels like all their top guys are not WWF guys. They're not like fucking cast offs from WWF. And I feel like
yeah.
once Hogan goes over, that never happens again
Oh
with
no.
any company. With any
Yeah.
company.
Yeah, Impact, the same thing happened.
And
The wildest thing about the Impact one was like their last pay-per-view before they ended with AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Christopher Daniels, which is exactly what Impact is all about. And everyone was on such a high. And then Hogan comes in
then it's
and oh
Valdez.
my God, the show's just my goodness.
Yeah.
You
So
took a company that like could I mean, and they're still there, but still could have been number two. They were fighting and they were fighting hard to remain number two. And I won't say they were getting close, but you wanted to tune in and watch their pay-per-view. So now I'm like, oh, I have paid $5 a month though, because for the past two shows. Their impact thing on YouTube. If you pay
oh
$5 a month, you can watch their pay-per-view.
I'm probably when I get up to the Impact pay-per-views, I'm gonna resubscribe to Impact Plus because I
Yeah,
again I don't know what I'm gonna do the weekly pay-per-views, but definitely when they go monthly, I'm gonna cover them here.
yeah.
So it'll be interesting to follow that journey. But yeah, Kyle, before we get into your plugs, guys, next week I have so we're doing different. We had comedians and Disney podcasts, but until we resolve the Andrew Lee lets me know when I'm back, I'm also gonna be including not just comedians, but wrestling personalities or people who have a high Twitter presence and wrestling Twitter. So Adriana, Cosmic Adriana, is the guest next week, Survivor Season 89. She's 21 years old. So I'm very curious what she is going to think of 1989 Survivor Series. And I'm also curious to know, does she go back and watch like 80s wrestling? Or is this like something she'd never really ventured into?
I'm sure it'll be awesome.
Well, you're a racist. And then
Got
in
me.
2 weeks, Dan Barry, World
Mm.
Championship wrestler, he's going to be the guest co-host for Starcade 89. And then I don't know about that. Then 3 weeks, whoever it is, we're going to do No Holds Barred, the match, the movie. And then in 4 weeks, whoever, I think it might be Ryan Mahar, who does 80s Wrestling Con, he's going to be the guest co-host for Royal Rumble 90. Kyle, what pay-per-view sounds the most exciting to you?
Probably Royal Rumble 90. It's a 90. Although I am interested in this I don't know Cosmic Adrian, although I'm looking her up
I,
right
well, I met
now.
her. I met her at WrestleMania actually. It's the
Oh,
only person
nice.
I've ever met from Twitter.
Ooh. Like she gave me there's a stardom guide here that she created. With stardom I try to watch, but I don't know what
She's
the
big into
fuck is
Stardom. Yes, yeah, she's
nice.
a huge Stardom fan, and it's
I never
funny.
know
See,
what's going on. So
yeah, she was at WrestleMania night too, and I had to go by myself because Josh had COVID,
yeah,
and I met her. We both didn't care about the Ronda Rousey match, so I met her in real life. So
there
she's a
you
real
go.
person. She's not a bot like everyone else on there.
She's real. She's a real stardom fan.
Did I asked Dave Bixpen to do Great American Bash. No, I'm not gonna ask that.
Yeah, ask him to do any of the WWF pay-per-views. First of all, you wouldn't be able to see his face. And second, you're not gonna he'll have the info for you. What
I
was
know.
going on at the time.
Kyle, is there anything you want
I
to
think
plug?
you'll enjoy it.
Kyle will be back. I just have to figure out. I'm hoping Andrew resolves his issues, which I'm not booking too many co-hosts ahead.
Hmm,
But I know that I know because you love Tyrus, you're so excited to see Sting win his first NWA title next year. So,
of course.
but well, in 1990. But what's there for you to plug, buddy?
July 8th. It is not on it's not on the website yet, but the next character select comedy will be July 8th at the stand. So just be on the lookout for
I'm
that.
gonna look
You
at
can
yeah.
continue to check. I think hopefully it'll be on the website soon. Summer comes around, things get busy, so it's a little harder to keep track of that stuff. But it will be a good show. We got Bedoya Travis will be there. Natalie Como will be there. A lot of good people. So please come hang out with us.
Iris will be there.
Iris will. He was a comedian at some point.
I know he does draw. I think we had this conversation.
Yeah.
Joe DeVito opens for him.
Yeah, he was.
Tyrus books theaters and sells it out. So he is a draw comedic wise, just not NWA wise.
Maybe he'll be on the next. He probably won't be on the next character select. I don't think he.
I don't think he will. You don't need him.
No, I don't think the people would enjoy his comedy.
No. So I don't know if he's enjoying his comedy, but somebody is. So.
That's what I got going on right now.
My thing is that's great for him that he has a ton of Fox News fans. They're not going to pay $5 a month to watch NWA on Fight TV. So
I don't think the NWA cares. I think they just keep going. I don't know where they're getting the money from, but they just keep going.
A lot of people must be downloading Bullet with Butterfly Wings every day.
I guess so.
So, but yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe. Go back to the archives, and don't forget we also did Disney. Listen, we talked about the original Spider-Verse movie. If you want to get a little flashback love, me and Kyle, our episode came out about 2 years ago. Holy shit. Yeah. And you hear all about it. And yes, follow me on Instagram, Ray Goots. Follow me on Twitter, Ray Goots, and follow me on TikTok, Ray Goots Comedy. And my next stand show will be July 11th. But I'm also going to be at Laughing Stop Comedy Club the 4th of July weekend, July 1st. There's a combo convention there too, so maybe I'll bang a cosplay chick. You don't know, Kyle.
Hey, I believe in you.
Thank you. I believe myself too. All right, guys, that's the episode. Next week, Survivor Series 89 with Cosmic Adriana. I know she has a real Adriana X. She has a real name, but we'll figure it out. All right, guys. We'll see you then. Kyle, thanks so much, buddy.
Thank you.
See you then.